Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my distinct pleasure to welcome you to Belfast for the 2019 UKIP Northern Ireland AGM and Conference. I'd like to salute you all for having braved the perishing cold today, not least our intrepid visitors, Ernie, who's keeping a low profile there at the back, and Neil, who's front and centre here. Anyway, resilience has always been one of us Kippers' defining characteristics. Indeed, it is your presence here today that testifies to that very spirit that saw the party chart its path from the political wilderness to poll-topping performances in both domestic and European elections. Through all the adversities that we have since faced, you have remained unbowed. And for that, I'd like to pay tribute to each and every one of you. Thank you. Now, before the transaction of business, there are one or two recent political developments that are worthy of note. According to Mark Twain, the dictum, history does not repeat itself, but it often rhymes. For many among us, the events of 1972 and 1985 are etched indelibly in our memories. Others will have experienced them vicariously through parents or grandparents. I refer, of course, to the Treaty of Accession to the European Community and Anglo-Irish Agreement. Whichever of those generations that you belong to, the current political backdrop is deeply evocative. Another Tory Prime Minister, another betrayal. In the wake of the Anglo-Irish Agreement, the late Harold McCusker MP captured the mood of the Parliamentary Ulster Unionist Party with these poignant words. I shall carry to my grave with ignominy the sense of the injustice that I have done to my constituents down the years, when in their darkest hours I exhorted them to put their trust in the House of Commons, which would one day honour its fundamental obligation to them, to treat them as equal British citizens. Yet again, we have seen a Tory willingness to cede UK sovereignty in the face of foreign aggression. And yet again, we remain steadfast in our simple demand for equal citizenship. As a United Kingdom, I believe history recognises us as the driving force behind many of the greatest advancements in civilization the world has ever seen. Being British, our character is often too phlegmatic to allow overt expressions of the pride that can be justifiably derived from these achievements. Yet on the 23rd of June 2016, with one voice, albeit many accents, we did precisely that. Despite the state-sponsored cultural Marxist indoctrination that pollutes our educational institutions and mainstream media, the spirit that once made us the envy of the world still endures. Perversely, that desire to reclaim our rightful place on the global stage is now a deep source of resentment to those whose debt to the United Kingdom is perhaps greatest. No offence, Kieran, of course. I speak primarily of the EU vassal state, the Republic of Ireland, which is increasingly beginning to resemble a latter-day Vichy. This should probably come as no surprise from the nation whose wartime Prime Minister, Eamon de Valera, was signatory to a book of condolence for Adolf Hitler at Dublin's German embassy. In league with its Brussels puppet masters, the Fine Gael government has emerged from the IRA's ghoulish shadows to pose the most direct threat yet to the United Kingdom's constitutional integrity. The clamour for regular realignment can quite objectively be assessed as a Trojan horse for the future annexation of Northern Ireland, while the mantra "no hard border" is bitterly ironic for those of us who remember it having been so porous during the terrorist onslaught. It is to the eternal shame of successive Irish administrations that so many of their citizens crossed that frontier with such murderous impunity. The DUP are not exempt from blame in this ongoing constitutional crisis, for it is their orthodoxy of Ulster nationalism that diminishes our status within the Union. And despite their emergence as kingmakers in Westminster, we remain on the very margins of UK political discourse, viewed almost as a post-colonial anachronism. We will not challenge that perception or supplant them in the polls by parroting the same tired old rhetoric. UKIP is uniquely qualified as a vehicle to advance the unionist cause. Electorally active across all four nations, represented in Cardiff and the Lords, not to mention council chambers the length and breadth of England. Among those IMs, peer of the realm, and councillors are dedicated advocates for Northern Ireland, and we are honoured to be joined by one of them today. Thank you, Neil. Through UKIP, the province can begin to realise its unfulfilled potential as a full and active participant in a vibrant post-Brexit United Kingdom. While I'm under no illusions about the scale of that task, I have detected throughout our regular days of action a genuine appetite for change among the pro-union electorate. We're currently faced with a Hobson's choice between the Ulster Unionist Party and DUP. Lacking their media presence, we are, however, at a distinct disadvantage. Nonetheless, by challenging the establishment political class's orthodoxies, not least the shibboleth of legislative devolution, our message is sure to find a receptive audience. This can only be achieved through unity of purpose and a renewed commitment to our core values. We're all in this together if we're in it at all. So let's not lose sight of the real enemy and together start making UKIP great again.